Hello, this is David at My Time to Retire, where I document my goal to retire early. I'm trying to grow my investments that I'm sharing with you here to $3.3 million. This is my second monthly review. Last month, my investments crossed over the $2.7 million mark for the first time, and October got off to a great start, but it gave back most of those gains and probably ended down in most of the investments that I have. I'll share with you the details and show some comparison here to last month. Just to give an explanation of what you're seeing here, we have non-retirement accounts in these two columns. We have pre-tax accounts for my wife and myself. This is 401ks, 457bs, and traditional IRAs. And then here we have post-tax accounts. This consists of Roth IRAs for my wife and myself, 529 accounts for two kids, and then in this column is the total. As you can see in this upward column is money markets with a total balance of about $91,000. I did list the account balances from last month's review just to provide a little bit of comparison. And then I went through and I highlighted in green where there were increases. Now, you can see there's a lot of places that are not highlighted. Not highlighted is because there's a decline, or if you see here where there wasn't a balance last month, but there is a balance, this is a new position in the portfolio. Mutual funds here, about $461,000 in mutual funds. Something to note is that in the non-retirement category, we do contribute, we dollar cost average automatic contributions every month in excess of $5,000. So some of these gains that you might see here can be attributed not necessarily to the performance of the security, but through the contributions that we make pretty much every week we put into the accounts. So just try not to mislead anybody, and full disclosure that some of our income we are deploying into these investments. Equities, lots of decliners. There are certainly some notable gainers. Amazon did really well. Netflix did really well. Booking, Kava, Welltower, HIMS did fairly well, though quite volatile. Nvidia continues to do well. T-Mobile has done well. And these are all stocks that are highlighted here. New positions, there's a few. I put in about $50,000 worth of investments. One thing to note, beginning of last month, Netflix was about $120,000. Released earnings shot up over $10,000 here to about 130 some thousand. I then sold about $30,000 of that stock. Brought it down to about 100. It has since declined since that sale, and I'm sitting about 98,000. But then that $30,000, that's money that helped fund other purchases that you can see here. Capri, a sharp decliner. This is a stock that I've held for over 4 years. You can see here, started about $3,800 at the beginning of the month, now down to $1,800. I haven't sold. I haven't bought more. I'm a bit of a holding pattern here as I decide what to do. This stock will probably continue to decline unless there's another company that comes in to purchase. I don't see this turning around at all. Yet undecided what to do, but you might see some action in this account here in the future. And all of my purchases I do share. I have made about 3 videos here in the last few weeks where I showed purchases that I made into the market. Lyft was one that I just sold. Really, I lost a lot of money in this stock, and I now have gotten rid of it, and I will probably next month, you will not see this line here at all. MicroStrategy, this is a stock that I've done quite well in, and it performed really well over the course of the month. On that beginning balance of 5,000, I believe it went up to over $7,500, maybe even closer to 8. I then sold. I left 1 share in. This is a stock that I'm going to keep my eye on, and I might do some more purchases here if Bitcoin declines and the opportunity presents itself. So you can continue to look here at the gains and the losses for the month. And you can see as you come down here, we did eke out a gain of just a few $1,000s for the month, But again, that few $1,000s is pretty much completely attributable to the money that we're dollar cost averaging in. So technically, we were probably down for the month, though I thought we were going to be down much more considering how the market performed in just in the last couple of weeks. But I think that the first couple of weeks, we actually had quite an increase in some of the investments. And then just in the last couple of weeks, we pretty much gave all of that back. One thing I want to point out here, 457B account, I do not have access to the account. I expect this balance to be 20% higher than what you see here. It is held by my employer for my benefit, but I only get quarterly reports on that amount. This, while it is in post-tax column here and with mostly retirement accounts, this technically is not a retirement account. And if I were to leave my employer, I could take that as income, which would then help bring this balance up over $400,000. And this is the only post-tax money that I have. This would be what would help fund an early retirement. That 400 some thousand dollars is not enough to fund an early retirement, and I will have to develop a strategy where I can tap in these retirement accounts, about 1.5 million in, or 1.4 million really in traditional IRA, and then over $700,000 in Roth IRA. And then you see here children's accounts, uh, which are our accounts really, but for their benefit, just over $100,000. The older child is about 2 years away from going to college. What's interesting here is these two accounts here invested in 529s. This one was started 2 years after this account. And for many years, they ran simultaneous, and this one was a lower balance. But this one is in our target dated fund. And as he is closer to drawing down for college, it gets out of equities and is in a much more conservative investments. Whereas this account here is invested in diversified equities and mutual funds, and it is outperforming. Even though this one had a 2 year head start, this one of late is certainly outperforming. This account here was started simultaneously with these, and it was started to take advantage of some free money that was being offered. I think I only put a couple $1,000s in there 15 years ago, 14 years ago, and that couple $1,000s, as you can see, has grown to over 5,600. So certainly a great performance, but certainly a long period of time. Something to note, we have not maxed out 529 accounts. We have prioritized retirement account investing. We have taken advantage of some of the tax benefits for 529s, but we have certainly not contributed to the maximum allowed. Personally, I had not gone to a traditional college. I have a 2 year associate's degree, so I'm a little bit biased towards colleges. And at the beginning, 529s I thought did not have the best options. There was a lot of restrictions on how to access that money. I think you couldn't even buy a computer with the money. I prioritize retirement accounts. There are some permissions within retirement accounts to access the money for qualified education expenses. And over the years, what is allowed in 529 accounts has softened. I think now you can even pay for private high school out of 529 accounts, which is something I may consider doing here in the next few years. But these balances certainly not as large as they could have been if I would have concentrated more 10, 15 years ago when these accounts were started. And we do expect our children to go to college, and we do want to fund their 4 year degrees for them. But as you can see, the monthly change, not very impressive. Certainly still far away from our goal of bringing this number to $3.3 million and starting that early retirement. But please like and subscribe. Follow me along this journey. I've benefited a lot from YouTube over the years, and I'm ready to kind of share my experience and my goals and tap the YouTube community to get some ideas, suggestions. So please give me your thoughts in the comments. I am looking to deploy about 90 some thousand dollars into the stock market in the next couple months. I'm looking for good ideas. I do need to concentrate on growth to get to that 3.3 million, but I am going to start shifting a little bit more into dividends, dividend growth stocks, as I take some of that risk off the table. I am very optimistic about the economy, and I think the next few years are going to do quite well. I do expect volatility to persist here in the short term, but when we get past the elections in a few months, I think things will normalize. So again, David, at My Time to Retire, please like and subscribe, comment, and look for future videos as I make comments on personal finance and I deploy some of that 90-some thousand dollars into the market to make more purchases. Thank you. This video is for informational and educational purposes only and should not be considered as financial or investment advice. I am not a licensed financial advisor, and any opinions shared are based on my personal experience and research. Investing involves risk, and you should always conduct your own research and consult a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions.